William Hill Vegas sponsors Joshua vs. Whyte on Sky Sports Box Office.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the final press conference before the big night of boxing at the O2 Arena Saturday night, an evening of bad intentions. Now, as many of you know, this is one of the best cards from bottom to top in the history of the sport. We've got 5, maybe 6 fights that at different levels, different arenas would be main events. It's a fight fan's dream, it's a promoter's dream. And it's all brought to you by Matchroom Boxing with Mr. Eddie Hearn, and our special sponsors William Hill Vegas, StubHub, Lonsdale, and the motion picture Creed in theaters everywhere on January 15th, starring Michael B. Jordan and Sylvester Stallone, and one of the fighters over my left shoulder happens to be here that's in the movie too. We'll talk about that later. So ladies and gentlemen, the main event. Just a few weeks ago in Dusseldorf, a member of the United Kingdom's boxing captured the world heavyweight title, the unified title, the title that is recognized as the heavyweight championship of the world. So right here in London on Saturday night, 2 fighters will step into the ring, and it happens to be even better than anticipated because possibly down the road, the winner of this fight will fight the world heavyweight champion Tyson Fury in what probably could be the biggest fight in the history of British sports. So more about that later. It's going to be a great night of boxing. As I said, a stacked card from bottom to top, top to bottom. And here to tell you more about it, and especially about our main event of the evening, is Mr. Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing.
Thank you, Mr. Buffer. As I said before, pleasure to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being in attendance today. For those who were with us, most of you, for our press conference earlier today, we saw a wonderful back and forth and 2 great fights. Kevin Mitchell challenging Ismael Barroso for the WBA interim world title, and Chris Eubank Jr. against Spike O'Sullivan in a final eliminator for the WBA middleweight world title. Up here, it's a pleasure to be sitting with so many great fighters at different stages in their careers, former world champions, world title challengers, Olympic gold medalists, undefeated prospects. This show has it all. From 5 o'clock, we'll be live on Sky Sports Box Office, and as a fight fan, forgetting being a promoter, I cannot wait to get in that wonderful O2 Arena with 17,000 people bustling from their seats and just enjoy a fantastic night of boxing. To introduce the table and the fighters on the table, a young man down on my left that shares a similar pedigree to the Olympic champion on my right, Luke Campbell, one of the most successful amateur fighters of all time, coming from Great Britain, defending his WBC title against Yvan Mendy from France. Yvan Mendy is a very, very tough competitor from France, French lightweight champion, had 12 great rounds with the WBC light welterweight champion Victor Postel, had 12 great rounds with the European champion Edith Tatley, and I think it's Luke Campbell's biggest test of his career so far as he looks to challenge for a world title in 2016. It gives me huge amounts of pleasure to welcome Paulie Malignaggi to this card. A late addition. I want to thank Al Heyman, of course, and Lou DiBella, as always, for bringing Paulie to this card. It's fantastic to see him back after so many great performances in the UK and in world boxing. In a fight against Antonio Moscatiello, who is here at reasonably short notice after Branco decided he didn't fancy the job against Paulie Malignaggi, and a totally different fight for Paulie Malignaggi on Saturday night. A much younger opponent, a much hungrier opponent, a bigger punching opponent, and someone with a lot more desire to score a huge scalp and victory on Saturday night. We really look forward to Luke Campbell and Paulie Malignaggi's big fights on Saturday. One of my potential fights of the night is, I think, one of the best fights in the cruiserweight division, and that's Mateusz Masternak against Tony Bellew for the European cruiserweight title. 2 guys that are really almost knocking on the door of a world title shot in the division. 2 guys that really didn't need to fight each other, but 2 guys that basically just wanted to have a great fight. And all of a sudden they come together for the European cruiserweight title. Masternak has mixed with all of the greats in the cruiserweight division. Tony Bellew, coming off the back of the Nathan Cleverly win, obviously joined Michael Buffer and Sylvester Stallone in the movie Creed. he was really looking for a big fight to close out the year. And this was a fight that, again, neither guy had to take. But Tony Bellew against Mateusz Masternak is an absolute war on Saturday night, and we can't wait for that. Also, welcome to Mateusz Masternak's promoter, Nisse Sauerland, and Dave Coldwell, Tony Bellew's coach. We'll be hearing from them shortly. This main event is a wonderful fight. It's one that's been brewing for many, many years, stemming back to the amateur days in which the infamous crackly footage of Dillian Whyte defeating and knocking down Anthony Joshua in the amateurs has stemmed towards one of the biggest fights, well, the biggest fight in Britain this year, and one of the biggest fights in Britain for many years. 17,000 tickets sold out in 3 hours just for the main event. If you were lucky enough to get a ticket for Anthony Joshua against Dillian Whyte, after what we've built on this show and the undercard that's been put together, you should be very, very happy with that piece of paper in front of you. This is a fight for the British and Commonwealth heavyweight title. Two undefeated fighters, two huge punchers, two guys that don't particularly like each other, and a wonderful fight in the heavyweight division, which we see now, week in, week out, is continuing to flourish. We're going to hear now from all the guys at the table, and then I'm going to pass over to Adam Smith to ask a few questions. I'm going to start now with Luke Campbell. Luke, obviously a great night for you in Hull in August when you defeated Tommy Coyle in front of 12,000, outdoor stadium fight. And this fight, potentially your most dangerous yet.
Yeah, definitely it's the biggest test for me, but it's something I'm ready for. It's a step up that I can't wait to take, and you know, I work hard in the gym day in, day out, and I'm just excited to be on such a massive show like this and go out there and show everybody how good I am.
Obviously the lightweight division domestically on fire at the moment. Anthony Croller's great win against Darlis Perez for the world title a couple of weeks ago. Kevin Mitchell fighting for the interim world title. Ricky Burns with a good win. Flanagan, the world champion. Derry Matthews challenging him. I know you're eager to get into that mix in 2016.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I believe that lightweight is probably one of the best divisions in Britain at the minute. Like you say, you just mentioned all them fighters there, all great fighters, and it's you know, I'm excited to get amongst that and to create big fights and to get all the fans involved and just put a good show on, really.
Yvonne, you've mixed with some elite fighters in world boxing, and Luke Campbell is widely regarded as one of the best lightweights in the world. What do you expect going into this fight?
Bonjour à tous. Déjà, j'ai accepté ce combat parce que c'est un gros défi pour moi. Et donc, j'ai envie de prouver au monde entier, j'ai envie de leur prouver le niveau que j'ai. Donc, voilà, j'ai envie de leur faire montrer que je suis aussi, que je peux tenir face à un mec comme Luke Campbell et que, voilà, je fais partie des meilleurs boxeurs au monde.
Ivan said that he accepted this fight and to show English boxing fans that he can beat Luke Campbell, and he can show over France that he has the worldwide level in boxing.
Thank you, Yvonne. Antonio Moscatiello, apologies if I haven't said that right. When I said it firstly, I did see the eyebrows go up a touch. You took this fight at relatively short notice, and a huge opportunity for you to fight Paulie Malignaggi on Saturday night.
Ho preso questa opportunità, ringrazio Paulie anche di avermi dato questa chance, il mio manager è Christian. Ero già in allenamento per un match a Milano dove combatto di solito e ho sfruttato il momento, l'opportunità e sarò qua a dare il mio meglio.
First of all, I want to thank Paulie for the opportunity, and of course all the parties involved in the promotion. He was supposed to fight in Milan in December anyway, an 8-round contest. He took the opportunity because his opportunity to show to people knows his name, and he will do his best on Saturday.
Thank you. Paulie, it's great to have you back. I know you're very, very excited. Obviously a fight now which we just discussed that 5 minutes ago I think is a better fight for you, a more exciting fight for you, and I know you're looking to put in a great performance at the O2 on Saturday.
Yeah, it's always exciting to be able to come to these shores. You know, ever since I fought here in 2008, I've wanted to come back here and put on a better performance for the fans and for everyone. I kept my hair short this time, so guaranteeing myself that there will be no such problems. You know, obviously there was a lot of headaches, and potentially almost everything went up in flames for me, and the fight almost didn't happen. But you know, I've got to thank you, Eddie, and Mantra Promotions. I've got to thank Al Heyman for continuing to work diligently, and obviously Christian at OP2000 for continuing to work diligently to bring in Antonio, and a lot of respect to Antonio for taking this fight. This is not the first time Antonio Moscatiello has to clean up Gianluca Branco's mess. He's done this. Gianluca Branco did this before when he pulled out last minute against Leonard Bundu a couple of years ago, and Moscatiello stepped in then and gave a good account of himself. So it's a hungry fighter, and I know what I'm dealing with. He's also a friend. I've actually sparred him in the past, and from that perspective, it's bittersweet. But at day's end, I was a bit ticked off at the way things worked out. You know, Branco, I felt like he waited till the headline broke before he pulled out. I felt like he used my name to get himself some headlines without the intention of ever actually doing the fight. The other day on Twitter, he was bashing about that the terms were never met. I know the terms. I know he was being severely overpaid for the fight. Al Heyman does not mess around. When he wants a fight made, he'll make sure he pays what he has to. So the terms were met. Then being that lie was called out on him today in the Italian press. He's going around saying that he had an injury a month ago and we all knew about this. I know I didn't know anything about it. I don't know what excuse he's going to come up with tomorrow, but at the end of the day, I've wasted almost my entire year chasing this guy. I was supposed to fight this guy in the spring. He pulled out with an injury before we ever announced it. So I went on to the Danny O'Connor training camp. From there, I got cut, and I ended up accepting the Danny Garcia fight. With that cut, I didn't get a lot of the sparring I needed in the Danny Garcia camp. No excuse. I still trained hard. It is what it is. And now I'm back in the same position chasing the European title, and this guy did this to me again. So really a wasted year chasing this low-life loser, fake excuse for a fighter. And I'm sick of it, man. The only disappointment was that I wanted that European title, but the silver lining is I get to fight in front of these great fans here in the UK. I'm happy about that. I'm excited about that. I'm ecstatic about that. And I can't wait to hear how loud that crowd is going to be Saturday night. So I look forward to it.
Thank you, Paulie. It's great to have you here. To talk about the European Cruiserweight title fight, Nisse Sauerland, one half of the Sauerland brothers, we've made some great fights with over the last couple of years, of course, most recently Arthur Abraham against Martin Murray. And you've got a couple of decent wins over us, and hopefully that will change on Saturday. But Nisse, a great fight.
Yeah, no, I mean, like you say, well, it's not very often when two fighters fight each other who, you know, they like to fight. They don't hide away from anyone. You know, they're both world class. Matthias is a former European champion, fought for the world title, and of course Tony comes with his own pedigree. Like you say as well, I mean, I think it's going to steal the show on Saturday. This is, you know, it's going to be a real war, and it's great to work with Matchroom again. And what's the score now anyway?
Yeah, one better on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Cheers. Dave, I remember when obviously we made this fight, we said this is a great fight, a very tough fight, searching for that world title fight. Probably a fight we didn't necessarily need, but one that Tony wanted, and as you said to me earlier, one that has really given him that inspirational factor going into Saturday.
Yeah, Tony's had a couple of marking time fights just to get active and keep busy. But he trains hard, he trains as though he's fighting for a title every fight. So he needs a fight that he can get his teeth into and mentally be ready, you know, to go to war. Whatever it needs to be done, he goes to do. This is a fight that's the problem with the cruiserweight division is people, because they haven't heard of the names of the fighters that are in the rankings, they don't rate the fighters. It doesn't mean that they can't fight. It doesn't mean that they're not good fighters. It just means that you've not heard of them. They've not had the big push. They've got names that you can't pronounce. Masanek's a very good fighter. He's a world level fighter. He's a world class fighter. It's without doubt Tony's toughest fight as a cruiserweight. But I believe that the way that he's performing in the gym, the way that his attitude is, and the fights that he's had already at cruiserweight, You know, I think that he's in a good place right now, and he's ready to push on to world level. He's ready to push on for that world title fight. He's one of these fighters that now it's now that he's got to get into that level, and he's got to get those fights because he works hard in the gym. You know, he's whatever you ask him to do, he does. He's got a great work ethic, and he just wants the fights out. You know, he just wants the fights that are out there that can bring out the best in him. And Saturday night, it's a tough fight. It's a fight that he's mentally got to be on it. He's got to perform. He's got to be disciplined, and ultimately, if he does that, I believe he'll stop Malignaggi, or it's a points decision. But I think it could go late. It's a very tough fight. It's a real fight.
Thanks, Dave. Matthias, welcome. And everybody talks about this fight potentially being the fight of the night. You ready to go to war on Saturday night?
Witam serdecznie wszystkich. Jest mi niezmiernie miło, że jestem częścią tak dużego wydarzenia sportowego. Jestem gotowy na prawdziwy pojedynek w kategorii cruiserweight. Byłem już w przeszłości mistrzem Europy. Chcę nim być ponownie. Na treningach przerobiliśmy wszystko to, co założyliśmy. Jestem gotowy. Mam dużo respektu do Toniego, ale tytuł był w Polsce i wróci do Polski.
Hello everyone. It's a big pleasure to be part of the team, be part of the main events. He's ready to get back his former title to Poland, and he's ready to fight.
Thank you. Tony, a huge fight for you, one I know you're excited about, and looking forward to the challenge of Malignaggi on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a good fight, genuine 50-50, so you know, we'll get to Saturday, let's see what happens. I'm prepared, I'm ready to fight. Fantastic camp, everything's gone well. Bring on Saturday, and good luck to all the boys who are on the card. Let's hope everyone gets home safely. Saturday night, Matthias Malignaggi gets knocked out, simple as that. Thank you.
Obviously expecting an aggressive Malignaggi, and obviously studied him hard with Dave. Are you expecting exciting all-action fight?
Yeah, I'll be totally honest, I've stopped studying fighters because every time I study them, when I hit them on the chin, they just completely change. So it's just, I've stopped studying them, I'm sick of it. I know what he does well, he knows what I do well. He's a world-class fighter, very good fighter. It's a hard fight, it is what it is, you know. Make no qualms, I always show up, I always do it, and I'll do it again Saturday night, simple as that.
Thank you. Jonathan, welcome. Obviously off the back of another huge profile fight recently in Germany, and another big profile fight and a huge crowd and a huge opportunity for Dillian Whyte on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's always good to be in the UK. It's going to be a great fight. I believe it'll be a great fight Saturday night. This is boxing. Boxing is an art. You got two artists painting stories on the canvas that will be forever remembered throughout history. So, and that's the sport that I love so much. So I'm looking forward to Saturday night, definitely.
Obviously, I know no game plan's given away, but what do you feel will be the difference on Saturday night?
I mean, I don't know. Game plans, it doesn't really matter. I mean, especially at this stage because it's so close to the fight. But basically, Saturday night, I mean, it's a boxing match. So that's the goal. The goal is to go out and show a good boxing match, show good time and good rhythm, and good speed. Really.
Dillian, obviously a huge profile fight, a lot of attention been on the fight, and now just a couple of days away now from a fight that everybody's anticipating, everyone's looking forward to.
Yeah, it's a big fight. I'm glad to be a part of such a big fight within my 17th fight in my career. I train hard and I can't wait to smash this robot to pieces. Simple as that.
Obviously, Jonathan, not going into tactics too much, how do you see the fight playing out? Sorry, this was for Dillian. Sorry, Jonathan wouldn't go into tactics, but Dillian, how do you see the fight playing out on Saturday night?
It's as simple. I grew up around big guys, I got big brothers, I got big friends. And for me, with most big guys, is when you put it on them in life, a lot of them crumble and fold under pressure. It's natural. A lot of big guys, they have not a soft upbringing, but a lot of big guys, you know, they used to be the biggest in the class, the biggest in all their friends, so they never ever get picked on or touched or have to defend themselves too much. A lot of people cower under their size. So when somebody actually stand up to them and put it on them and take it to them, in history, a lot of them crumble. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen Saturday night. I've trained hard, I'm in shape, I'm coming to destroy this match.
William Hill Vegas sponsors Joshua vs. Whyte on Sky Sports Box Office.